Secrets and Scandals. Rachel and Mary weren't just sisters, they were best friends. Growing up, they did everything together, from playing dress-up as kids to sharing secrets as teenagers. Rachel was the older sister, the one Mary looked up to, and Rachel loved being a role model for her younger sister. They shared everything with each other, and Rachel never thought anything could come between them. When Rachel met Bruce, she felt like she'd found her other half. Bruce was charming, kind, and he treated her like a queen. They quickly became serious, and within a year, he proposed. Rachel was thrilled and couldn't wait to share the news with Mary. Mary was just as excited, promising to help Rachel plan the wedding, and even joking about being the world's best maid of honor. With her sister by her side and Bruce as her fiancé, Rachel felt like her life was perfect. But as the wedding planning went on, Rachel started noticing changes in both Bruce and Mary. Mary seemed more distant than usual. She wasn't as excited about the wedding plans as she used to be, often making excuses to leave early or saying she was busy with work. Rachel brushed it off, thinking that Mary was just adjusting to the stress of adult life. Mary had just started a new job, and Rachel figured she was probably just tired. At the same time, Bruce began acting strangely. He had always been open with Rachel, but now he was suddenly protective of his phone. She noticed him texting at odd hours, his face lighting up whenever he looked at his screen. When she asked him about it, he just smiled and told her it was work stuff, or said he was planning a surprise for the wedding. Rachel wanted to trust him, but the strange behavior made her feel uneasy. One evening, Mary showed up at Rachel's apartment looking upset. Her eyes were red, as if she had been crying. Rachel was worried and tried to comfort her, asking if everything was okay. But Mary just gave her a forced smile and said it was just work stress. She quickly made an excuse to leave, and Rachel watched her go, feeling that something wasn't right. Later that night, Rachel couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She felt nervous and uneasy, her mind filled with doubts about Bruce and Mary. She remembered the secretive texts, the sudden changes, and how both of them had become distant. She decided she couldn't ignore her instincts anymore. While Bruce was asleep, Rachel quietly reached for his phone, her heart pounding as she unlocked it. She felt guilty, but she needed answers. She opened his messages, and there it was, a conversation with Mary. As she read through their messages, her heart sank. The texts were not the kind she'd expect between her fiancé and her sister. They were filled with inside jokes, late-night confessions, and even messages of love. Rachel's hands shook as she continued to scroll, each message confirming her worst fears. The two people she loved most in the world had been seeing each other behind her back. She put the phone down and sat in silence, feeling numb. Her heart was broken, and she didn't know what to do. She wanted to confront them both, but she also felt so betrayed that she couldn't even find the words. She spent the night crying, her mind replaying every memory with Bruce and Mary, wondering how they could have done this to her. The next day, Rachel decided she needed to talk to Mary first. She invited her over, trying to keep her emotions in check. When Mary arrived, Rachel wasted no time. "Mary," she said, her voice trembling, "I know about you and Bruce." Mary's face went pale, and she tried to deny it at first, but Rachel cut her off. "I read the messages, Mary. I know everything." Mary looked down, her voice barely a whisper. "Rachel, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. I don't even know how it started. I fell in love with him." Rachel felt a surge of anger and heartbreak. "You knew he was my fiancé, Mary. How could you betray me like this?" Mary's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't mean to hurt you, Rachel. I know it was wrong, but I think he loves me too." Rachel felt sick. Her sister, the person she trusted more than anyone else, had taken away the life she had dreamed of. She told Mary to leave, her heart shattered. She didn't know if she could ever forgive her. For days, Rachel couldn't bear to see or talk to either of them. She felt lost and betrayed, struggling to come to terms with the idea that the people she loved most had destroyed her trust. She spent hours alone, trying to understand what had gone wrong and questioning every moment she'd shared with Bruce. After a week of silence, Rachel finally decided that she needed to confront Bruce too. She invited him over, pretending that she wanted to talk things out. When he arrived, she looked at him, barely able to contain her anger. "Why, Bruce?" she asked, her voice breaking. "Why did you do this to me?" Bruce looked down, shame and guilt on his face. "Rachel, I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I was confused, and I didn't know how to handle it." Rachel shook her head. "Confused? You were seeing my sister behind my back, Bruce. How could you call that confused?" Bruce reached out for her hand, but she pulled away. "I know I was wrong, Rachel," he said softly. "I wish I could take it all back." But Rachel was done with empty words. She looked him in the eye and said, "You made your choice, Bruce. You and Mary both did. I can't keep pretending that everything is okay." She asked him to leave, making it clear that their relationship was over. She couldn't go back, and she knew she deserved better. For weeks, Rachel struggled to rebuild herself. She distanced herself from Mary and avoided any contact with Bruce. She leaned on her friends, trying to rediscover who she was outside of the relationship and the betrayal. Her heart was still broken, but little by little, she began to heal. Then, months later, Rachel received an unexpected letter from Mary. The message was short, but it said everything. "I'm sorry, Rachel. Bruce left me too. He was seeing someone else the entire time." Rachel read the letter, feeling a strange mixture of sadness and relief. Bruce had betrayed Mary just as he had betrayed her, moving on to someone new without a second thought. The man who had once promised her a future had proven himself to be nothing but a liar. She felt a sense of closure, knowing that she had walked away from both of them. In time, she found peace, realizing that she was free from the lies and the heartbreak. She could finally start over, with a clean slate and a heart that was healing. As she looked out over the city, Rachel took a deep breath, ready for whatever came next. She had lost the people she loved, but in return, she had found her own strength. She was free to build a new life, one where she could trust herself and choose people who truly valued her. Rachel knew that her story wasn't over yet. She was just beginning a new chapter, wiser and stronger than ever.